This episode of the School Zone podcast is brought to you by School Spirit Vending, hassle-free year-round fundraising for your school. At School Spirit Vending, we do all the work. You cash the check. Hey, School Zone podcast listeners. Matt coming at you from School Zone headquarters here in Stephenville, Texas. I'm excited to have none other than Cheri Sinclair on with me today from Kona Ice out of Houston, and wanted to have Cheri on to talk a little bit about what they do and the value that the Kona Ice franchisees around the country bring to the schools and our listeners potentially of the School Zone podcast. Cheri, why don't you say hi to everybody and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Matt, for having me. And hello, everyone. If you're looking for a great way to fundraise for your schools, Kona Ice is definitely the way to go. Kona Ice is currently in 44 states and has over 700 trucks nationwide. It's easy, it's fun, and the kids love it, and the teachers don't mind it either. They think it's pretty yummy.
Yeah, what adult doesn't want to go back and hearken back to their childhood a little bit anyway, in the middle of a school day or whatever, right?
Absolutely. And Matt, it's really interesting to watch when the parents will come up with the children. They're like, no, I don't want to have one. But then they take a bite of their children's Kona Ice and they're like, wait a minute, maybe I should go ahead and get one of my own. So I see that all the time, and it's really exciting to watch. You know, with Kona Ice, our trucks are so inviting. It's not just walking up to a truck and getting ice in a cup. It's a full experience. You see the bright characters on the truck. You hear the music playing. The lights are going. The kids are engaged. You know, they get their ice. They get to add their own flavor using our Flavor Wave. So it's more than just getting a treat. It's really, truly an experience that's really a lot of fun for everyone.
That's awesome. So you've been with Kona since 2011, correct?
Correct.
So give me a little background on you guys. You know, what did you do before Kona Ice? How did you get involved in the business and that type of thing?
Sure. I'll try to make it a short story. My husband and I originally owned a chain of what was then Singular Wireless stores, which is now morphed into AT&T. We sold those in 2005 and moved to our beach house, which we loved dearly. My husband became a builder and I became a realtor, and we lived on the beach and had a great life until Hurricane Ike. That changed our life pretty dramatically. We lost 6 houses, and basically I had no job left because there was nothing to sell. So as times progressed and lawsuits continued for 3 years, we decided we needed another business. So we opened a small little shaved ice trailer, and it was an instant success. My husband had spent summers in New Orleans as a child and loved shaved ice and snowballs. So we opened our first stand called the Snowball King. And it didn't take us long to find out that we needed something more mobile than the trailer. So we started looking into different trucks that we could build. And I'm not going to tell the longest story of how we found Kona Ice, but we did find Kona Ice through some mutual friends and fell in love with the trucks and the company, and really couldn't be happier with our decision. We now have 8 trucks and one of the mini trucks. We are scheduled to buy 3 more this year. So I would think that the hurricane almost did us a favor. It was life-changing and terrible, but at the same time, here we are today. We love our life. We love our business. And one of the most rewarding things with Kona Ice is the give back and the give back to our community. And that's what Kona Ice is really about, is about fundraising, not just with schools, but with tons of different organizations. But with schools since 2011, and we started in late 2011, we got our trucks in September. Just to schools alone, we've given back $126,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Very cool. So in your wildest dreams, did you ever imagine 10 years ago that you'd be doing this right now?
Never in a million years. Our friends truly thought we were crazy. My parents were like, oh my goodness, do you need money? Do I need to send money? And I'm like, no, we're fine. We're buying another truck. And they're like, I thought this was just a hobby. And I'm like, well, not anymore. So it's been definitely an interesting ride. I'm almost speechless when I have to think about it because no, never in a million years would I have thought I'd be selling ice.
So, it's funny you say that because with what I do with our company, School Spirit Vending, it's the same thing. I flew in the Air Force previously, spent time in the medical and the advertising industries. This is really one of my earliest attempts at entrepreneurship. But yeah, 10 years ago, there's no way I could have envisioned that I'd be doing this and I'd be having so much fun doing it as well, And it's so cool. I know you feel the same way to be able to come in with something and to be able to provide and to be able to hear and see what that give back enables schools and organizations that you're working with to do. I was doing a trade show here the other day, and I'm sure you have similar stories up in Michigan. One of the ladies that I was talking to, I said, well, why would you want to bring our program in your school? And she said, well, we need lice kits.
Oh, goodness.
And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? She said, well, we've got all kinds of donors right now to the district at the district level, but they all are earmarking the money for technology. Well, you can only give away one iPad per kid. But because of the way everything's earmarked, so many other things don't have funding. And in her case, because of the school that she was in, she had a huge need for those kits. And so she was looking for a fundraiser to help just offset that.
I love that. That's great. I see the same thing in a lot of the Houston area schools. We do more of the actual inner Houston, not the suburb area. So we don't have these huge budgets that some of these other schools have. It's interesting to hear the teachers say, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving back to our school. There are things that we need that your money pays for, whether it's books in the library or it's fire extinguishers I've seen all kinds of different things that schools have needed. And then sometimes it's just for fun. They don't have the budget to have field day, or they don't have the budget to have just some sort of reward for the kids. And it's nice to know that your money's going towards something that makes people's lives better.
That's awesome. Hey, Cheri, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to talk a little bit more about who the ideal location is or school or organization you're looking to work with, how you guys kind of establish and set up your events and that type of thing. We'll be right back. Are you an educator, administrator, or school volunteer looking for a simpler way to raise money for your school? Let School Spirit Vending put their hassle-free year-round fundraising program to work for you. School Spirit Vending. We do all the work. You cash the check. Go to schoolspiritvending.com/school zone for all the details. All right, we're here with Cheri Sinclair of Kona Ice down in the Houston, Texas area. Cheri, give me a feel and our listeners a feel for what's a best fit for you guys and what are some of the circumstances that help you guys do what you do the best within a school environment.
We can pretty much work with any school, whether it's a elementary school, a middle school, a high school. And obviously through the years, we've kind of developed ideas of what works best. For example, with a elementary school, with all of the new Texas rules, we do have a smart snack option, which means we can be on campus after school lunch has completed for the day. Not many vendors will have this option for a school, especially serving something as awesome as we sell. With a middle school, we can be on campus pretty much any time as long as it doesn't interfere with the lunch contract. And then high schools, we usually only do lunchtime serving because with high schools, there's just too many after-school activities to do something after school. Also in Texas, no matter if we have the smart snack option or not, each school has 6 exemption days that can be used to have anything on campus they want, whether it's the pure sugar snow cone or it's the cupcake or anything like that. So that's always helpful. Now, using Kona Ice, though, is super simple, and this is what the schools love about us. And this is why any school can use us. You basically tell us where to park, we bring all the supplies, do all the work, and then we write you a check back for a percentage of our sales. Our trucks are totally self-contained. They don't need water or power, can park virtually anywhere, and we can serve up to 400 people per hour. So we can get through an entire school very quickly. Schools are sick of selling cookie dough and pies and bake sales, and their main issue is volunteers. They're always asking, we need a volunteer for this, we need a volunteer for that. With Kona Ice, we don't need a volunteer. Simple. Where to park? Who do we write the check to? That's really all we need.
That's pretty cool. So I was reading a recent press release coming from out of your guys' 2016 Kona convention, which I guess was earlier this month.
Yes.
So, some of this stuff doesn't really impact the schools a lot, but I think it's really cool just to highlight. As an example, I guess Kona has started Kona Creations to provide some of the proprietary flavors that you guys have. What are some of those that you see the biggest response from, when you set up at a school?
Sure. Well, the Kona Creations, we were actually one of the 30 nationwide franchises that actually did the testing on the flavors. So we've actually had them a little bit longer than a lot of the franchises. All I can say is wedding cake. The wedding cake is the most delicious wedding cake I've ever tasted. It's definitely got something that no one else has. The blue raspberry is also amazing, and the cherry. Those three are probably my top three best I've ever had. And, I was in the business long before I started with Kona Ice in 2011. So I've been around the park and tasted a lot of flavor, and these are really amazing. And there's so much more to the story with, how they ended up in the flavoring, to do the flavoring subsidiary of the company. But it's also just shows you how much dedication they have to the brand of Kona. It's not just a shaved ice truck. It is a Kona Ice truck with Kona Ice flavors, and you can't get those anywhere else. They will not be sold to anyone but Kona franchises. And they're amazing. They really are amazing.
I think my biggest problem would be eating up all the profits if I was a franchisee. So
there are days, we're out there in the warehouse like, so who wants Kona Ice? We just call that a job perk, actually.
Oh, there you go. Very cool. So talk a little bit about, I noticed also that you guys are rolling out an app that I guess will provide games and that type of thing for kids. And can you share anything about that at all?
Absolutely. The new app that's coming out, or actually I think is out, is called Island Rush. And it is a game, and it has Kona and all the characters involved. And there's a lot of different levels you can get through. Kona Ice will also get a new cup, and there's 5 different versions of the cup. And on the cup is a code word. So to be able to get to the next level in the app, you need a cup with a new code on it. So it's promoting also a new flavor with Kona Ice called Island Rush. It's a very beautiful light blue color and quite tasty, and you'll definitely want to try it.
So getting back to the school side of things, you said the schools have 6 exemption days. Do you have many schools that just say, you know what, we're going to sign up Cheri to do all 6 of our days, so we don't have to even think about it except for pick the days on the calendar?
Yes, actually, we do about 10 different high schools in Houston, and that's what they do. And just to give you PTA people out there and PTO people an idea, this has worked extremely well in Houston. We have about 5 schools that are doing this, and they call it Food Truck Friday. And they don't invite just us, even though we were the instigator of the whole extravaganza, but they also invite about 10 other trucks, whether it be, a taco truck, a burger truck, all different food trucks. We all come together, all the kids come out, and they get whatever they want. And then every truck is donating a percentage of their sales back to the school.
That's cool.
So just a quick idea on that. It's been very successful for us. So they did, at the beginning of the year, they sat down, the first school did, and booked 6 days. Well, then that school turned into another school, and then another school, we kind of helped tell about it. And so it's just kind of become a word of mouth, and we're hoping for next year to even add more. The elementary schools are definitely using their exemption days. I will tell you, I work with Houston ISD, which is a huge ISD. They are the most difficult school to work with, most difficult school district to work with. As far as their Smart Snack, which can be used on campus at any time, by the way, after lunch service. Even though we are Smart Snack approved, the contract with the lunch provider, they don't want us on campus at all. So that's kind of a battle. So using the 6 exemption days has been very successful with those schools. But then there's some schools that just don't care. Honestly, they're like, and it truly is up to the principal.
Wow.
The principal says, Kona Ice, we're going to have you every week. Come on. Then we definitely go.
Right. So give me an idea, say a typical, obviously there's more elementary schools than any other school out there by volume. So what would a typical elementary, and I know everybody's different, but give kind of a range at least. You guys were to set up in an ideal scenario after lunch using the smart snack option one day, what kind of money could they potentially raise? What kind of range anyway?
It really just depends on the school. It depends on the weather. I would say a lot of times, and it depends on how much they let us advertise. We can easily do about $3,000. And of that, we give back 20%.
That's awesome. So what kind of advertising can you do if they allow you to do it?
Sure. We provide full color posters. It'll say what time we're going to be there, where we're going to be parked. It also lists our price. We also do a page of notes. We can put 5 notes on one page. It'll say when we're going to be there, our pricing. It also lists our phone number in case any parents have any questions, because we do always have a few calls about food allergies and so forth. And then we take those notes to the school in stacks of 25. We don't just show up with a bunch of notes and throw them at them. They're in stacks of 25 so they can easily be put in each teacher's box. So then that way they can be handed out in the communications folders for that week. That way the parents know that we're coming. They can call us with any questions, and they know the pricing. So they can say, okay, well, great, here's $5, you can get a big one. Or you've been bad this week, here's $2. Super easy. We really try to make it as easy as possible for the schools. And, any principal or teacher that uses us, they will tell you that it is easy. They even sometimes forget that we're there or we're coming until they receive their check. Oh yeah, you were here last week. Oh, I didn't come out. Now, we also try to make sure that the principal gets one in their hands while we're on campus, but occasionally they do get missed. But we do our best.
So is there any other information or any other parting thoughts, Cheri, that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Sure. If you're looking to do something for your teachers and you've never used us before, invite us out to do a little party for your teachers. We'll usually do something for you for free on an in-service day, just so you can actually see our truck, experience the shaved ice, because we want to be in your school. So we'd love to show you what we're all about.
Give me 2 different bits of information, if you would. First off, let everybody know more specifically where you are in the Houston area. And if they're in that area, give them contact information for you there. Otherwise, if they are outside of Houston or in other parts of the country, what's the best way to find out who works in their area and get in contact with them?
Absolutely. Our Kona Ice of Houston franchise, we service basically inside Beltway 8, but we also serve Baytown, Channelview, North Shore, and a portion of Pasadena. If you're not sure which franchise is your closest franchise, you can simply go to www.kona-ice.com. Click on Find a Kona, type in your zip code. It will route you to your nearest franchisee. Super simple. Also, when you pull up on Find a Kona and you click on the information, it'll show you the phone number for the person, the email address, and then you can type in a party request right there on the computer. It emails directly to them. That way they can email you back or give you a call. It'll also show you a quick bio of that franchise's information.
Very cool.
So we make it as easy as possible to find us.
And for those folks that are listening that might be on the road or whatever, you can go to the show notes at schoolzonepodcast.com and look up this episode, and we'll have Cheri's number, we'll have the Kona Ice URL and all kinds of other information there that you can check out as well. And I would encourage you to reach out to Cheri if you're in the Houston area, or to reach out to a Kona franchisee in your area. We specialize ourselves in hassle-free fundraising, and Kona is doing the exact same thing in a really, really unique way. And as schools try to work with more and more fundraising companies that do all the work and take the headache out of it, I think Kona definitely needs to be on your radar and definitely needs to be a part of your mix moving forward. Cheri, thanks a lot for your time, and you have a great rest of the week.
Great. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you. This episode of the School Zone podcast is brought to you by School Spirit Vending, hassle-free year-round fundraising for your school. At School Spirit Vending, we do all the work. You cash the check.